All Round Fence is also your one-stop shop for Neutrina products and carries Weaver equine and livestock supplies and Preferred farm equipment. So, if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of new farm fencing, visit All Around Fence, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Dinosaurs have taken over the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium. Take a trip back in time this summer and come face to face with some of the largest and most intriguing animals that ever walked the earth. From Triceratops to Tyrannosaurus Rex, your favorite dinosaurs lurk around every corner. This special exhibit is free with zoo admission. Stomp on by soon. These amazing animatronic creatures will disappear once again on September 7th. Plan your visit today at pittsburghzoo.org.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Looking for a fun-filled week the whole family will enjoy? Well, the Fayette County Fair is back July 30th through August 8th at the Fayette County Fairgrounds. Enjoy exciting entertainment, carnival rides, games, delicious fair food, farm exhibits, and so much more. Bring your friends and family and make lasting memories all week long. To purchase $15 advance tickets, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County Fair, incredible fun for everyone.
Your local station, 590 WMBS.
I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, July 16th, 2026, and you're listening to The Sports Boy. You would think on the week of the All-Star game there wouldn't be a lot to talk about, but ironically, there just so happens to be quite a few stories that need to be covered. And actually, it begins with your Pittsburgh Pirates. Who would have thought they would be in contention at this point? Sweeping first place Milwaukee over the weekend, 50-47 a lot of times when we get to July and we talk about the trade deadline, we're talking about the Pirates being sellers. Now, who am I kidding? Every year we're talking about the Pirates being sellers. But not this year. No. Ben Cherington has come out and said that he is going to look for reinforcements for the remainder of this month. They already found a couple in a trade they made with the White Sox prior to the All-Star break, but that's not anything that's going to help this playoff push. The Pirates are going to have to go all in, but as we said last week, a lot of it is going to be determined by who is all out. There are still numerous teams fighting for these wild card spots. There are very few teams that have said, we're going to sell at the trade deadline. Major League Baseball had the showcase for the draft, the futures game, the home run derby, the All-Star game, all of that taking place in Philadelphia to really mixed reviews. A kind of boring All-Star game, a home run derby that went well into the night and maybe did not satisfy expectations because you had to have Netflix if you wanted to watch it. A lackluster draft, I don't know. Is this going to be a draft similar to what we saw in 2024, 2023, or could this be a draft where a lot of these players don't necessarily succeed in Major League Baseball? The futures game was interesting, but you see so little of these guys in games like that. I don't know if we really got a lot of exposure. We did see Seth Hernandez pitch. We saw Florentino get hit, so we did see a little bit of that. But there's some baseball to talk about. In addition to all of that, Major League Baseball has pretty much announced their schedule for 2027. It seems like they forget that the player's contract expires December 1st, and there's a looming strike that could potentially cancel out all of next year. So we'll talk a little bit about what they have planned if everything gets settled and solved. But yet again, more controversy taking place over the All-Star game when the talk of a salary cap was brought up yet again. Something most players, especially the better, more expensive players in Major League Baseball, do not want. Don't blink, everyone, but we're less than 2 weeks away from training camp at St. Vincent's. Yes, normally the Pirate season is over by now, and everyone is just fixated on football and can't wait until it comes. Well, the 28th of July is when it will come. And then, of course, there'll be plenty of opportunities until August 17th to sit up on the hill and watch a team that hasn't made the playoffs or hasn't won a playoff game in a decade continuously feed you this heated battle for the number 3 quarterback, because that's what everyone should be super concerned with moving into this upcoming year. It'll be the first year with head coach Mike McCarthy, a revamped offense, some new players added, a lot of the old philosophy of Mike Tomlin disappearing, but yet 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Not everything is going to change for the better for your Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's not forget, we still have to wait for the Joey Porter Jr. raise that we know is coming. I can only imagine how much money they're going to try to throw at him. Not that much money left under the cap, just a little under $6 million. And let's not forget, at the end of August, there's an over $7+ million roster bonus that could go to corner Jalen Ramsey. So will he be around at the start of the season? I think it's been a while since we've talked NFL free agency. Some intriguing moves by the Steelers, but is it enough to get them over that precipice of sneaking maybe into the playoffs and then getting annihilated when you get there? It can't get any worse, I would assume, with Mike Tomlin leaving. So it's just a matter of wait and see what's going to happen. The National Hockey League, if you were listening to TJ's news prior to my show, the National Hockey League announced they're going to expand the season by 2 games. This is the first time since 1994 that the NHL will play 84 games. They claim it's because they want to increase the opportunity for rivalries. These will be 2 extra division games because they want to play everyone I don't know, however many times, 50, however many times they play them each year, they want to make sure that it's heavy on divisional matchups to make things a little more meaningful. Nothing much happening with the Penguins. A few free agent signings have taken place this week, including Anthony Mantha, who signed a 2-year deal with the Devils. You know, it's ironic. Mantha told the Penguins about midway through last year that he was starting at a 3-year contract, would like to have 5. And the Penguins basically said, we're not going to invest 3 years. Apparently the rest of the NHL said that too, because it looks like the best he could get was 2 years from the New Jersey Devils. So we'll get into that a little bit as the Penguins are sort of changing up a little bit. Doesn't look like they're getting a whole lot younger, but they are looking a little different as they get ready to move into next season. Once again, they want to start in September with this expanded season, so blink your eyes, and it's going to be time. It's going to be time for all the fall sports, which include the NBA. LeBron James still not ready to determine where he's going to play next year. And, of course, I don't want to steal any of Nick Barczyk's thunder because I know he does this NBA and WNBA roundup. We'll have to find out what's going on with the WNBA as well. But just right around the corner, we're going to be getting into all of the other sports. Major League Baseball's time alone in the spotlight is getting ready to disappear. Although they weren't really alone this summer because of the FIFA World Cup, which is coming to a conclusion on Sunday. Maybe a huge upset, which took place with Spain knocks off France. Although I looked at Spain's roster, it's a who's who of top soccer stars around the world. I don't think they're really any slouch. They'll be taking on the defending World Cup champion Argentina and Lionel Messi, one of the best players to ever play the game, as they took out England yesterday. So we've got a third-place matchup, and then on Sunday, we've got the championship. Also today began the final installment of golf's majors. It used to be called the British Open. Now it's called the Open. I guess it could be the British Open this year. They're playing at Birkdale, which is actually in England. So you could call it that. I've watched a really good portion of it today. I refer to it as fantasy golf. I think it's one of the biggest jokes you'll ever see. The announcers spent quite a bit of time telling you how tough it was going to be because of how dried out everything has been. The wind had picked up a little bit. They're talking about 15-mile-an-hour winds. But what I realized is they let the entire course dry out, which include the fairway and the fescue. So basically, you can hit the ball anywhere and not be penalized. There's no way you can lose your ball in the fescue. They would have if they'd have kept that watered. And by letting the fairway dry out, it's like a runway. So these guys are hitting the ball 340, 350. Although they didn't let the whole course dry out. They made sure the greens were saturated before everything started. So they're as slow as can be. And in addition to that, as soft as can be. So we're seeing spin. We're basically seeing the guys put the ball wherever they want to on the green. 40 golfers under par, 38 golfers under par after the first round on a par 70 golf course in a major. That, to me, is nothing more than fantasy golf. Nick Barczyk is here with me. Nick, once again, not able to be in the studio, not my favorite thing. I enjoy being there, maybe not so much being on TV, but I do enjoy being there, hanging out with all of you guys. So I'm glad I have the opportunity to call in again. Thanks for putting me on the air.
Well, Dave, it's the least we can do. I do miss seeing you, and I agree. We need more fescue on that course, but no fescue, no Dave in person, but we'll put through. We'll get through. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, same. Hey, before I get into any of the sports stories of the day, I obviously have a lot of time on my hands. So I've seen all over Facebook, it's the 89th anniversary of WMBS. And once again, I feel so bad that I'm not there for it. Hopefully I don't get fired. I've been around 17 years, so hopefully they won't fire me in the meantime. I'll be there for 90. But, yeah, that's a huge accomplishment to be around that long. And just a great, great story for Uniontown and Fayette County and all of the other areas that WMBS is able to broadcast to. I know there's quite a wide array of places that can hear the station. So, yeah, just congratulations to everyone affiliated with WMBS. I was listening to some of the memories. I have quite a few of those myself in the amount of time that I've been there. But just a great accomplishment, very well deserved. The best staff I can imagine of any radio station in America, and you guys put me on the air, so I have to obviously give a huge shout out for that as well. So congratulations, 89 years, WMBS.
Yeah, that's awesome, Dave. We appreciate it, and yeah, it's an honor to be a small part of the legacy of this great station. So thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. 89 years ago, what would have been going on?
Wow.
Just absolute insanity.
Radio's still going strong. Yep.
Yeah. Moving forward, I guess we'll start with the Pirates. I mean, it's hard not to. I know it's been a while. You look at Sunday being the last time we've seen the Pirates play, but also on Sunday they wrap up a 3-game sweep of the first-place Milwaukee Brewers, the second-best team in baseball. And the Pirates look like a team that's gearing up for something bigger. Obviously, injury issues, but we're thinking Spencer Horwitz should be back soon. O'Neill Cruz, I just found out, I had no idea he had a broken hand until the weekend. So O'Neill Cruz, that mysterious injury revealed a little bit. You wonder, it's got to be somewhat close for him to at least be able to come back. See, if he was decent at defense, he could at least be out there on the field. I'm sure it's hard to grip a bat, but you wonder. And then obviously the Connor Griffin thing, knowing that we're going to be missing him until the beginning of September, that right there should signal reinforcements are needed for the Pirates, because without Griffin in the lineup the last week and a half, we've seen Jared Triolo literally playing every day, and you're not going to make the playoffs with Jared Triolo playing every day at shortstop. Also, the Pirates make a trade. They bring in a couple of guys from the White Sox. This was kind of an intriguing trade. I'm not saying that I think it was the greatest thing they could have done in that situation, but they trade away the 34th pick in the draft, and they end up bringing Jacob Gonzalez, who is a former first-round pick back in 2023 of the White Sox, who's a second baseman. He could probably play a little bit of shortstop. I know they talked a lot about him changing his swing around a little bit this year, got up to Major League Baseball. But to me, he just at this point seems like a backup. It doesn't really seem like anything groundbreaking and earth-shattering that's going to gear this team into a playoff run. In addition to Gonzalez, they also bring in Brandon Eisert, a relief pitcher, a left-handed relief pitcher. A lot of complaining about Evan Sisk being injured and them not really having that left-hander to go to in the pen. But in the end, they trade away their competitive balance pick, which the White Sox end up taking Jim Tome's son, which I think really would have been a nice pick for the Pirates there, sort of off the charts with hitting and power projections. Can't believe he was still there at that pick. But, in the end, the Pirates are looking at now. Eisert pitched a couple of games over the weekend. A little bit sloppy as far as putting guys on base with the bases on balls, but didn't give up any runs. So that's definitely a good sign. Gonzalez, I think, only had one at bat, didn't get a hit. But they did make one move, not a whole lot of hype behind it, but definitely there's some other things that the Pirates need to do. With that being said, the weekend belonged to Esmerlin Valdez, the magician. What a great showing he's put on since being recalled from Indianapolis. And you sit here and you think, like, he's not really the pedigreed guy that you anticipate coming up and doing something like this. So a lot of the question marks are out there. How long will it last? But I think in the end, even though there are potential for him to struggle, I think in the end he's going to be a solid major leaguer. We're looking at some of the pitches he takes and the selection there, in addition to the pure power that he possesses, the key catalyst to the Pittsburgh Pirates winning the weekend against Milwaukee, but definitely a lot of other things that are, I think, positives right now coming from this team, even with the injuries that they're sustaining. Yes, there are things they need to do. We talked a little bit about that last week, but all in all, I don't know, Nick, did you have 50 and 47 on your bingo card at the All-Star break?
Well, Dave, not necessarily, but yeah, they've really been bitten by the injury bug, and every team in every sport is. But these are big injuries. Griffin, O'Neal Cruz, and they're chugging along. It's a reversal of last year when the pitching was dominant, the hitting was bad. This year it's the Lumber Company revival, and the pitching's been underwhelming. Skeens having the poorest season of his tenure to date. Still a top pitcher. A lot of teams would kill to have him, an all-star selection, but Braxton Ashcraft's been good. Outside of that, Keller really struggling. The bullpen is unspeakably bad. So, yeah, the offense has come alive. You mentioned Merlin Valdez. You mentioned some of the bright spots in this lineup, but I think this team is about a 500 team. I think they're a slightly above average team, and what do you know it? Going into the second half of the season, they're 3 games above average at 50 and 47 with tough games on the way, teams you're not used to playing, the Guardians and the Yankees on the road, then home for the Cubs. Are you going to catch the Brewers even after that sweep, even after embarrassing them on Sunday? I don't think you're going to catch them. So a wild card spot is what you're shooting for, and you have to go over a lot of teams. The red-hot Marlins with Otto Lopez, who leads the league in hits. The St. Louis you'll have to get over. So it's going to be tough. If I had to bet, I say they miss out on the playoffs, but wouldn't shock me if they made it either, but still a lot of holes. That pitching staff has been very underwhelming. Again, the bullpen's been awful, but if they keep hitting like this, it's going to be hard to keep them out of the playoffs, maybe.
So we've heard the comments from Ben Sherrington basically saying that he is going to be a buyer at the trade deadline. I guess the first question is, do we believe that? And the second question would be, is it worth it? Like, what are you giving up? We know how hard it is for a team like the Pirates that doesn't like to spend money to replenish talent. What are you willing to give up from the minor league system? I mean, how all in are we going? Are we going Seth Hernandez all in to bring in a legit superstar? Or is this just going to be piecemeal patchwork where you're going to bring in a couple of guys that are on expiring contracts that may or may not help this team in the end? Like, I'm looking at teams that are probably eliminated. Like in the American League, we got the Angels, we got the Royals, the A's. The A's are riddled with injuries. The Tigers, I wouldn't even say the Tigers. I would say the A's, the Royals, and the Angels. When I look at the National League, I look at the Rockies, I look at the Mets, I look at the Giants. I mean, really, what are you going to get out of there? You're not going to get, I mean, I know the Mets have a lot of high-priced players, but the Pirates aren't going to go for any of those guys. They're going to try to look for some veteran on the cheap that probably won't have to be on the team next year. Is there really anything out there? And I guess maybe bullpen arms is going to be the number one priority for this team. Although, and you made the comment about Keller, the rotation hasn't really been anything to brag about either outside of Ashcraft, and it looks like Skeens is starting to get some things back together.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Chandler, even Jones has been inconsistent at best. And then there's that catching hole, too. I saw a rumor that the Pirates might be interested in making a trade with Baltimore for Adley Rushman, but Baltimore's only 2 games out of a wild card spot. I think that's what a lot of people miss. These teams are all still in it. When Major League Baseball expanded the playoffs, they brought a bunch of teams in, and they still have this trade deadline with 2 months left in the season. So they need to figure out how they want to work this. Do you move the trade deadline back maybe into August somewhere, or do you contract some of these playoff teams? Because right now you're in a situation where that's a pretty big event. The trade deadline in every sport, even football's picked it up a little bit. That's a pretty big event for your sport, and now you've got a situation where you're doing it so early in the season that just about every team is still involved in a potential playoff berth. I don't see a whole lot of opportunity here for the Pirates to add, because the teams that I'm looking at, I don't really think there's a ton there that the Pirates could really use. You go up that ladder a little bit, now you're tied. You get into the Padres, the Nationals, the Astros, the Orioles, the Blue Jays. Now I think there's maybe some guys the Pirates can target. But unfortunately, I mean, unless the Reds want to give them Suarez, I can't see really a whole lot of help coming the Pirates' way. There's just not enough out there to really make a difference here.
Well, it depends on how serious they are. I'll ask you, under any circumstances would you part with Seth Hernandez, who we saw in the futures game. I wouldn't. Is there any scenario where they would? And I think the dream acquisition would be Mason Miller. I just don't see a move for him in the offer. Do you? I mean,
No, I can't. And the Yankees are targeting Miller, so
Right.
if the Yankees want somebody, they're going to go get him. Which is ironic because I thought David Bednar was their closer of the future.
he's been really good.
And yeah, but they apparently want Miller to try to solidify that back end of the bullpen. I think Devin Williams has been so bad for them that they are just looking for. They want that name. They want that big name. And of course, Miller's a flamethrower.
Oh.
So I don't know if I would trade Hernandez for Miller. I think when you look at where the Pirates are, a lot of their strength is going to come from pitching, probably starting pitching, and it hasn't worked out exactly how they planned. Now, they did call Hunter Barco up primarily to pitch out of the bullpen. We'll see if he doesn't maybe get moved into that rotation. Majinski, I thought, looked okay in the rotation, but he's been the one solid guy out of middle relief. Really well. Yohan Ramirez has pitched a little better as of late also. Some of these guys have started to come around. Santana's had a couple of decent outings after some really bad ones. Matson's had a couple of decent outings. Soto's shaky. I mean, they do need a closer. I don't think anybody they have is a real legit closer. And if you're going to talk about the playoffs, you've got to close these games out. So I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibilities. But they're looking at Seth Hernandez as their number one pitcher moving forward, which tells you Paul Skeens is basically a pipe dream as far as keeping him around. So if Hernandez is your projected number one, then you can't just give him away for somebody that might come in for a couple of months and help this team make a wild card. If you're going to give away a guy like Seth Hernandez, you've got to bring in quality young talent that's going to be around for the next 7 or 8 years. And I just can't see them doing that. I can't see them going out and making that kind of trade. And I can't see them parting, because they never do, with the guys that they consider to be their top prospects. So I think the Chris Archer trade back in 2015 has pretty much soured that, because you think Meadows went in that trade, Baz went in that trade, Glasnow went in that trade.
Oh.
So
Please, I'm
you
having hot
mortgage the
flashes.
enti-
I'm having nightmares all over again.
Yeah, you mortgaged the whole future to bring in someone you thought was going to help you to take that next step, and it just didn't work out. So I think in the end, Hernandez stays. I think it's going to be piecemeal and patchwork. I think they'll bring in a couple of guys that'll be upgrades over. I mean, it's not hard to upgrade over Billy Cook and Jared Triolo and some of these guys that have been in the lineup over the last couple of weeks because of these injuries. I think that you will see some things happen. It will be additions, not subtractions. But I think in the end, it's really not going to matter. I think you're right, Nick. It could go either way. They're right on that cusp. They could be a wild card team. If they are, they're probably not going to do anything. They'll probably get eliminated in the first round, or they could just miss out, which might be better for them, because then they can talk about how close they got. Unlike the Steelers, who get into the playoffs and get blown out, at least they wouldn't have that happen to them. But I think in the end, you need to add to make it look good, but I don't think what's out there is going to necessarily help them the way they think.
Well, it's all about expectations, and for the Pirates, it's about making the playoffs. A playoff berth, even a wild card berth, Dave, they might as well hang a banner at PNC Park for that. That's a World Series win, because this organization has not won a playoff series since the 70s, has had 3 seasons in my lifetime when they've won more games than they lost in the regular season, and they're 3 above 500. People are talking about, playoff berth for sure. How many series can they win? I've heard that, but it's all about expectations. For this organization, sneaking in as a National League wildcard team, it's pretty much like winning the World Series for them. But you're right, and it's a vicious cycle with them, because Seth Hernandez, they're not going to part with, because he's the next Skeens. I heard that about Bubba Chandler. He was the next Skeens. They bring Bubba up, and he's not the next Skeens. Maybe he's this year's version of Paul Skeens, but certainly not the 2024-2025 version of Skeens. So, yeah, I mean, they're not going to part with him, and I don't know. Was O'Neill Cruz on this team for very long? He could be a trade chip, but he's always hurt, and when he's out there, the inconsistencies, we all know about that. So, yeah, they're in a very interesting spot. I think they should go all in. I think they need to make the playoffs. It's been, 10 years now since they have already, so 13, 14, and 15 was a long time ago, and I think they should go all in. Whatever that takes, I would do it, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think when you look at this franchise, if they win a playoff series, they might put your brick back in the ground. I mean, that's how important this could be
Can only hope.
for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, I mean, the first year WMBS was stationed, they broadcast the last Pirates World Series win, right?
About
Oh,
that.
no, that was only, no, that was what, 48 years ago or whatever.
Too long.
40, 47, yeah, it's
Come
been.
on, if
but
the Knicks can
seems
win
like
a
it's been
championship, the
89
Pirates
years.
can. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, you have to want it. And I think a lot of the complaining, especially over the last decade, has been they just don't want it. They just don't care. And that's true. They don't care. Bob Nutting cares about making money. He's making it hand over fist. He doesn't really care if this team wins or not. Maybe all of a sudden, with all the backlash, maybe the embarrassment on opening day with planes flying over and him out in the stadium being confronted by fans yelling at him to sell the team, maybe some of that embarrassment has finally clicked where he's at least going to make it look like he's trying. But like I said, even with what they've done this year in free agency, I mean, Ryan O'Hearn was a great signing, but it was also a cheap signing. Brandon Lau was a great trade, but the contract expires at the end of the year, and I haven't seen an extension made. Everything the Pirates did was as low risk as could possibly be. They got better, but they didn't go out and get Kyle Schwarber. They didn't go out and get Eugenio Suarez. They didn't go out and get Pete Alonso. They didn't go out and get any of those guys. Nothing that was going to cost them a significant upgrade in cash was done. It's all basically the same. And you make a good point with Bubba Chandler and Seth Hernandez. If you're going to sit around and say, well, this could be the next Paul Skeens, this could be the next Paul Skeens, and you actually have Paul Skeens, why not just keep Paul Skeens? Why are you worried about the next one if this one's that good? Because you don't know what you're going to get out of whatever comes next down the road. I think the Pirates need to invest in what they have, but I think I get what they're going to do at the deadline. I know they're just going to bring in some randoms that'll be better than what they have. But I think when you talk about investing, instead of trading away a Seth Hernandez, invest in the guys you have. See what it'll take for Paul Skeens. If there's a salary cap next year, it might take a whole lot less. So you need to figure out how to keep what's there. This Valdez kid looks good. How about give him some money? I mean, the Brewers throw money around like it's water for a lot of these young guys, and they call them right up. Pratt's up, Lara's up. They gave Mate a ton of money. Why can't the Pirates do that too if they're going to cry and whine about how difficult it is to sign these big-time free agents? Why not just lock up the guys you already have and see what you can do there? I said, the entire year, everything they've done has been on the cheap, but the team actually got better. Whatever, as long as the team keeps getting better, but now invest in your homegrown talent and see where it'll take you at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, the 10 RBI game, it's a great story. Those are decent, adequate signings, but they're not going to put you over the top. And there are other deals they could have made. You're right. Schwarber was never coming here. Neither was Suarez. It reminds me of back in the David Price and who else were they really close on but didn't get back in the day? I mean, we heard that all the time. Oh, we almost got him. We almost got him. So
well, Schwarber used the Pirates to get more money from Philly. He never wanted to leave Philadelphia.
Absolutely, and nor should he. I mean, that's a name you're not going to get. He leads the league in home runs. I mean, he's Philadelphia's darling along with Harper. I mean, there's just some guys you're not going to get. But again, Lau and O'Hearn were fine signings, but they're not quite enough. And I'm not sure if they're ready to make that next move of okay signings, decent, even above average signings to that big one, the one that's going to really put him over the top. And I guess that would be, paying Paul Skeens what he wants. But I doubt that's going to happen. And he has regressed so much that it may not even be a big deal when he leaves. I think it still will be, but he's certainly, the bloom's off his rose, certainly from 24 and 25. But he has been pitching a little better. But who would have thought, Dave? I mean, the hitting's keeping them alive. Guys like Valdez. I mean, who are some of these guys coming up in this lineup that are mashing the ball? It's the pitching that needs to get in order if they want to make the playoffs, and we'll find out the next few months if it can.
Yeah, Nick Gonzalez, one of the top hitters in the league, hitting 306 right now.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, or 308.
Henry Davis had a big game Sunday. I mean, that's not going to last, but
yeah, he's almost hitting 150. 156. Yeah, he's there. So
the Henry Davis
yeah,
line.
a lot.
Forget Mendoza. Yeah.
Well, we've still got some more baseball to talk about. We've got the draft. Well, we'll tell you who the Pirates got. We have the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game, and, of course, the plans for next year, if there is a next year in Major League Baseball. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Is your lawn getting shaggy? Weeds taking over? Maybe it's time for a full yard cleanup or fresh mulch and clean, crisp edges to bring your landscape back to life. Whatever your lawn needs, Z's Ground Control has you covered. They do it right the first time. Call 724-366-9150 today for your free estimate. Z's Ground Control. You grow it, we mow it.
Tired of running out of hot water? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is your local source for reliable tank and tankless gas water heaters. Whether you're replacing an old unit or upgrading to an energy-efficient tankless system, we have options to fit your home and budget. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you get dependable hot water when you need it most. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com. Koval Building Supply. Everything you need to keep your home running comfortably.
Armstrong Internet is built for homes like yours by neighbors who know what matters most. Fast, reliable internet backed by local experts who live here. That's 24/7 support with no contracts and no installation fees. No surprises. Just a reliable network to keep you connected to what you care about. Visit armstrongfiber.com and get connected as soon as same day. Choose a provider that's supported your community for decades. Choose Armstrong.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
WMBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. Well, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking Major League Baseball. What else could we possibly talk about in the middle of July? Although we're going to find out in the second hour. There are some stories from some other sports for us to get to that'll probably take the entire time. We've talked Pirates for the bulk of it and sort of where they are after sweeping first place Milwaukee over the weekend, 50-47 for your Pittsburgh Pirates, getting ready tomorrow to start a series with their rival. This is what rivalry weekend, the Cleveland Guardians. That's, I'm sure, the first team you think of when you think of rival for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But the Guardians are an interesting team. They're a young team. Should be a really good series to test. If the Pirates would make a wild card, it would be a team similarly set up like Cleveland that they would face. So we'll see how they fare and how they look in that series over the weekend. On Sunday, Major League Baseball had its draft. I think it was Sunday or it was Saturday. I don't know, whatever day it was. And the Pittsburgh Pirates had the 5th pick in the draft. The first 4 went according to plan. It went identical, I think, to how just about everybody had it. Chalowski, the number 1 overall pick to the White Sox from UCLA, then Grady Emerson, Vaughn Lackey, Jackson Flora. And then it came to that place where you just don't know what's going to happen. And the Pirates, I think, fueled that fire because the number 5 prospect that everyone thought the Pirates were going to take, Jacob Lombard, the shortstop from high school, was not taken by the Pirates. And it makes sense. They don't need a shortstop. They have Connor Griffin. Like, you don't need to just take the person that's there. As a matter of fact, Lombard went 14th. So for anybody criticizing this pick of the Pirates, just know it was all over the board from 5 to 15 as far as these picks went. The Pirates took Derek Curiel, an outfielder from LSU. I thought it was a great pick. I actually said right before, this is the guy I would take, although he's projected 12th. I don't know if he fits in this position. But I think when you look at the Pirates, you look at what they need in the future, he, I think, is a pure hitter. He's a speedster. He plays center field. He's left-handed. I mean, this is exactly what you're looking for to solidify the outfield for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the foreseeable future. Nick, I thought it was a great pick. I guess time will tell. We will see. But Curiel's 21, so it's not one of those guys they can bury for 5 years down in the minors.
Oh, you watch.
See him.
You watch him.
Well, he'd be 26 if they do that. I think this is someone we see sooner rather than later, potentially within a couple of years.
Yeah, not a high school guy. Left-hand batter, you mentioned that's good down the road at PNC. That's going to hurt Griffin hitting home runs because he's a right-hand batter, and that's one of the deeper left fields and left centers in baseball. But a left-hand batter, that's their dream to play at PNC. Look at Lau this year. So, yeah, it's good. It's a name I had heard of before the draft, and you obviously follow that stuff a lot more closely than I. But, yeah, it's a name I had known, and it's a good pick. If you thought it was a good pick, I think it will be, and we'll see. Sherrington's had Mr. Sherrington, we'll say, has had some struggles in the draft. Maybe this was a winner.
Well, they don't claim that there's a whole lot of power with this guy, but he's 6'2". I would assume there's going to be a way to find some power here.
I would.
And like you said, with the Clemente wall, that should help too, with it being a little shorter out in right field. So hopefully this is something that'll work out for the Pirates. I don't think they'll be picking up there anytime soon, or they're not allowed, right? They've picked in the top 5 for the last 15 years. Isn't there some rule now that you can't do that anymore?
There should be if there isn't, yeah. Enough already.
In the second round, the Pirates take Aiden Ruiz, an infielder out of Stony Brook High School in New York. Looking at him potentially as a shortstop, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him move over to second base. Also in the second round, they take Chris Rembert, second baseman from Auburn. Moving through in the third round, they take Jason DiCarlo, a right-handed pitcher from North Carolina. In the fourth round, Andrew Giles, no relation to Brian Giles. He's a high school kid, an outfielder. And then through the rest of the rounds, a bunch of college arms, including Lau Overbay's kid, who was taken. So, you look at where the Pirates are, constantly searching for pitching. That seems to be one of the most important things in Major League Baseball. But all in all, you never know what the draft is going to bring until you start to see these guys develop. The Pirates in the past have had issues with drafting and developing. But I do like Curiel. I think it's a good pick. I think it's someone that you're going to see in a Pittsburgh Pirate uniform here in the foreseeable future. The others we'll wait and see. But I think even looking at last year, some of these guys, Murph Gray just got promoted to Double-A. Altoona, he's hit a ton in Single-A. Easton Carmichael. So some of these older guys that they've brought in from college starting to rise through the ranks in the Pittsburgh Pirate minor league system. So hopefully we're seeing a little bit of that changing of the guard and some better picks being made. Curiel might have been a stretch, but I don't think he's a Cole Tucker. I think this is somebody that's going to at least be a solid major league player.
Cole Tucker. Yes, let's hope he's not another Cole Tucker.
Well, that was a second-round pick that was drafted in the middle of the first round.
Right. You never know with these drafts, especially the baseball draft. It's really a crapshoot, but we shall see. They have a rough track record with the draft as of late, but I'm encouraged overall when I see the names.
Well, it looks like I'm running. I don't have time to get into the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby or Major League Baseball season, so we'll save that for the second hour. I guess I'll end with the Cincinnati Reds throwing money around. See that today? Chase Burns, 7 years, $105 million.
Yeah, good money if you can get him McCullers as well. The Astros and Brewers making a deal, so some big moves.
Yeah,
the
the
last
Brewers
few
get
days.
Lance McCullers,
Right.
giving up Prince Fielder, or is it Prince Fielder's son or Cecil Fielder's son? Prince Fielder's son.
Prince
Jaden
Fielder, yeah,
Fielder.
Cecil's Prince's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince's son.
Yeah, wow, it's crazy to think it's been that long since Cecil Fielder's played.
I know.
But the Reds an interesting story. The Reds have a really good farm system, and now with the rotation, Hunter Green came back before the All-Star break, looked really good. Lauder, Lodelo. There's some guys there with Cincinnati. So, the Pirates, they have to lock down. They have to keep the stars that they have. They've got to figure out a way. And, we'll talk when we get into the talk of the season in the next hour. We'll talk a little bit about the potential for a salary cap as well. But that, I think, might help the Pirates, at least the fan base, a lot more than anybody thinks. Nottingham won't like it because we'll have to spend more money. But it might allow them to keep Skeens because they might have more money under the cap than anybody else. They might be able to give him more than any other team and still keep at that floor that they're going to try to be around the entire time.
Yeah, we shall
So,
see.
we will
Interesting.
Yep,
First
well,
half,
that's all the time we have for the first hour of the Sports Voice. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 is coming up next.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest. Now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
Diplomacy remains on the table. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That bottom line from the White House, but Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also says Iran violated a ceasefire agreement.
Specifically, in the memorandum of understanding that they signed, they were not to fire on commercial vessels moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And unfortunately, they have made the tragic decision for them to do that.
She says that's what led to renewed U.S. strikes on Iran, a sixth consecutive night of strikes underway.
Now, for the first time since President Trump ordered a return of the naval blockade, U.S. forces disabled an oil tanker, firing Hellfire missiles at her stacks, trying to run through the blockade to Iran's Karg Island. To date, 2 other ships have reversed course and turned away from that blockade enforced by 20 U.S. warships and hundreds of aircraft in the sky.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Tel Aviv, Iran launching more strikes on Gulf neighbors and threatening to have proxies in Yemen shut down another strait. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Democrats are focusing on ending the conflict.
Our focus has to be on ending this horrible war that has no direction and no gain.
Schumer also says President Trump is trying to change the subject with tonight's address to the nation, which Leavitt says will focus on election security and findings suggesting adjustments may be needed.
I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our election.
In his push for proof of citizenship and other changes, the president often mentions the 2020 election when no widespread fraud was found. One longtime aide to the president, who's operated the teleprompter for speeches for years, is accused of placing bets on a prediction market about things the president would say. The White House says the president has put that staffer on unpaid leave and that there is a strict ethics policy in place over prediction markets. America is listening to Fox News.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has two convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borge Jr.
Be prepared with CHIP, free or low-cost healthcare for Pennsylvania kids and teens. From checkups to unexpected bumps and bruises and everything in between, CHIP has you covered. Don't wait until you need it. Be prepared with CHIP. Because every kid deserves quality healthcare and every parent deserves peace of mind knowing their kids are covered. CHIP, free or low-cost healthcare for kids and teens under age 19. Learn more at chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The Trump administration is renewing a rule denying green cards to immigrants using public benefits.
The public charge policy would deny legal immigration status to immigrants using public benefits like food stamps, Medicaid, and federal housing vouchers. The policy was first implemented during President Trump's first term, but was reversed by former President Joe Biden. Under the policy, green card applicants would have to prove they're not a burden to the country. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says the federal government is reaffirming the requirement of self-reliance and protecting public resources. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Navy's Blue Angels reviewing a low-flying fighter jet over a Florida beach during an air show yesterday.
Some of the spectators there really seemed excited by the whole process. That is, of course, the home of the Blue Angels, Pensacola Beach, Florida. That's being called a low-altitude pass by that jet. Now, keep in mind, there were no injuries from it, but the Navy officials initially said there would be a safety review after that pass.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. Well, the acting U.S. Navy secretary has since posted flight debrief complete, no reprimands, no firings, no problem, adding, that's the sound of freedom. War Secretary Pete Hegseth has said flyovers will continue until morale improves. A new group of Mouseketeers on the way as Disney Plus orders a pilot for a reboot of the Mickey Mouse Club.
Originally launched in 1955, before undergoing several iterations, the show is responsible for discovering and launching young talent, including Annette Funicello, Britney Spears, Ryan Gosling, Justin Timberlake, and Christina Aguilera. The new squad of youngsters anchoring the reboot pilot are some of the Camp Rock 3 cast members and more. Music will play a large role in the variety program, which begins production on the pilot this month.
Fox's Monica DeLuca. Stocks finished lower, the Dow down 105. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
And good afternoon, 5:05 on a Thursday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. Another hot summer day, 91 right now with clouds and sun. Feels like we're at 102 right now. Be safe out there. More on the Weather Watch and sports in just a bit. Quinnipiac University's latest Pennsylvania polling found that 57% of voters who vote usually for Democrats said U.S. Senator John Fetterman should leave the party, while 55% of Republicans and 46% of independents said so. Fetterman's approval rating is 48% overall, while 41% actively disapprove of his job performance. State voters gave the governor a 53 to 40% lead over Republican gubernatorial candidate and State Treasurer Stacey Garrity, while 39% of Pennsylvania voters approve of President Trump, while 58% don't approve of his job performance. Drug maker Glenmark has settled a big lawsuit with Pennsylvania and several other states. The suit alleged Glenmark inflated prices and limited competition by colluding with other pharmaceutical companies. Glenmark has agreed to a nearly $30 million settlement, of which about $1 million will go to Pennsylvania. Customers who bought drugs from Glenmark, Lannett, Bosch, Apotex, or Heritage from 2009 to 2019 may be eligible for compensation. Police in Brownsville and Fayette County are searching this week for 32-year-old Quentin Brown II, who faces multiple charges, among them child rape and statutory sexual assault. The charges are from allegations that Brown repeatedly assaulted 2 young girls at his home from 2024 to last year. Brown is aware authorities say that a warrant has been issued for his arrest, but he's not yet been apprehended. Wildfire smoke is expected to grow worse in northern West Virginia into the weekend. The wildfires that are burning in Canada and Minnesota have formed a smoky haze around most of the upper U.S. By Friday evening, northern West Virginia is expected to be hit hardest by the haze before conditions get better. A chance for rain in the northeast and upper Midwest should begin to clear out the smoke, but officials in Minnesota say they expect the fires to burn for many months and will still be a source for a hazy sky in our region for weeks to come. More next on WMBS.
So what's the difference between the sheds I see in the parking lot of the big box stores and a professionally built and installed JDM structure shed from Ultimate Structures? Good question. First, the manufacturer, JDM Structures, is one of the premier shed builders in business for 34 years. They use composite materials for the exterior with baked-on paint. This ensures you'll have an extended lifespan for your shed. And listen to this. 75% of Ultimate Structures orders are personally designed to satisfy the customer's needs. That's right. And the turnaround time for a custom designed shed is no longer than just buying a stock shed. Compare the roof designs, the superior piano door hinges, the quality of the wall panels, and personal customer service. You'll see. Come to the Mega Lot on Route 51 South, just outside Perryopolis. You need a shed? We can help. We design what you desire. Ultimate Structures.
And in sports, actually, no. First, we'll bring you this. Lawmakers are one step closer to establishing permanent daylight saving time.
The House has approved a measure to make daylight saving time permanent in the United States, eliminating the need to switch clocks back and forth. The Sunshine Protection Act will aim to keep clocks consistent. While the bill still does require Senate approval, some believe the benefits of extended evening sunlight outweighs potential drawbacks of later sunrises. WSPA reports that states have the option to opt out of the bill if it passes, but the overall impact on daily routines and schedules remain uncertain. I'm Katie Gray.
And now in sports, the Bucks are back in action tomorrow night, taking on the Guardians in Cleveland. Pirates in Cleveland on the road for the Bucks tomorrow night at 6:45. Jared Jones on the mound, game at 7:10 on WMBS. Penguins' full schedule is out. The 2026-2027 schedule was released this afternoon. The NHL announced the league's whole schedule for the season for the first time in over 30 years. The NHL will have an 84-game schedule. Penguins open the season on the road against the Flyers September 30th. The Penguins' home opener against the Canadiens on the 3rd of October at 7. For more information, go to nhl.com/Penguins for the full schedule.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
This weather report being brought to you by Montgomery Medical. Trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care, newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. And now the weather.
Another hot summer day, 91 right now, went up to 92. Feel like temperature in the low 100s. Be safe out there the rest of the day and into tomorrow. Low at 63 tomorrow night. Sunny Friday, then a chance of overnight thunderstorms at 89. Thunderstorms likely Saturday at 82. Sunny Sunday at 82. Sun Monday 87. 84 with thunderstorms back Tuesday and chance of rain Wednesday at 81. Right now at 5:11, 91 outside of our Davis & Davis studios at WMBS on this Thursday. Good evening. I'm Nick Barczyk. On the way next, the stock update from Jenny Montgomery Scott. Then the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway on WMBS. Good evening.
This weather report was brought to you by Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Same-day appointments available for acute care. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment.
Good evening. This is Jeremy Hoover of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 105 points, closing at 52,553. The NASDAQ Composite was down 387 points, closing at 25,882. The S&P 500 was down 39 points, closing at 7,533. Among companies of local interest are Apple, $333.26, Amazon, $249.89, Cisco, $109.66, Boeing, $214.34, Caterpillar, $877.43, Disney, $99.73, ExxonMobil, $145.97, First Energy, $49.10, Johnson & Johnson, $249.60, Home Depot, $347.81, Intel, $96.98, McDonald's, $273.44, Meta Platforms, $664.54, PNC Financial Services, $255.14, Raytheon Technologies, $194.35, Rockwell Automation, $468.67, Tesla, $391.06, Verizon, $43.87, Walmart, $114.95. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 105 points, closing at 52,553. The NASDAQ Composite was down 387 points, closing at 25,882. The S&P 500 was down 39 points, closing at 7,533. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs, this is Jeremy Hoover.
It's the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor area with a new fence from All Around Fence Company, conveniently located on Route 40 in Uniontown. All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 46 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Nutrena products and carries Weaver equine and livestock supplies and Preferred farm equipment. So, if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of new farm fencing, visit All Around Fence, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Dinosaurs have taken over the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium. Take a trip back in time this summer and come face to face with some of the largest and most intriguing animals that ever walked the earth. From Triceratops to Tyrannosaurus Rex, your favorite dinosaurs lurk around every corner. This special exhibit is free with zoo admission. Stomp on by soon. These amazing animatronic creatures will disappear once again on September 7th. Plan your visit today at pittsburghzoo.org.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Bright Stripe, Bay County's premier asphalt seal coating professionals, locally owned by Matt and Lexi George. Bright Stripe specializes in residential and commercial asphalt seal coating, also excelling in line striping and layouts, thermoplastic, and infrared asphalt repair. Bright Stripe has succeeded due to their commitment to quality work for 30 years. Bright Stripe, 724-437-6090, or visit bright-stripe.com. BRITE-stripe.com.
This July, freedom comes with four-wheel drive at Live Casino. Celebrate 250 years of winning with a new Ford Bronco. Earn entries daily July 1st through the 25th for a chance to win a share of $30,000 in free play prizes. 10 winners every Saturday. And on July 25th, one big winner will ride off in a new Ford Bronco Strop Edition. Let freedom ride at Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Boys. Ahead on this hour, well, we didn't officially finish baseball. Actually, I think I only got to the Pirates. So a little more baseball talk for you. We'll talk about the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. Kind of snooze fest, but still it's something projected by Major League Baseball. I liked a little bit of the show that took place in addition to that. And I know that probably isn't the same for everyone, but we'll talk a little bit about some of the aura that surrounded the Midsummer Classic. In addition to that, Major League Baseball releasing some key dates for their 2027 schedule. We'll look at that. Apparently they've forgotten that the contract with the players expires on December 1st, so a lot of talk about potentially a lockout, a strike that could last all of next season. But if there is a season, we'll look at what the Pirates have planned as far as we'll look at what Major League Baseball has planned as far as how all of that goes. I do have one last thing to talk about with the Pirates, these bobbleheads. Hopefully I don't forget that. Maybe Nick will remind me to get into that at some point toward the tail end of our baseball discussion. In addition to that, we're less than 2 weeks away from training camp at St. Vincent's. Get your towel and your terrible towel ready so you can sit up on the hill and scream at your favorite quarterback, whether it's Drew Aller or Will Howard, whichever one you want to make the team. Because for a team that hasn't won a playoff game in a decade, that seems to be the biggest battle up there, is who's going to be the number 3 quarterback. Everything else pretty much set in stone with a bunch of over-the-hill veterans who really haven't accomplished much in the last several years. The National Hockey League releasing its schedule, 84 games, first time since 1994. The season will start in September, first time in a while for that as well. As I said at the beginning, nothing better than a league that has around 50% of their teams that lose money every year. Let's add more games and more opportunity for them to lose. But the NHL trying to build off the momentum from the Olympics last year and trying to increase this whole idea of playing rivals. They had a time where you played the division rivals almost, it seemed like half the season. It's not going to be quite that much, but at least they want to even it up to make it fair so that you can play every team in your division the same amount of time. That apparently is why they've added these extra 2 games, so they can still keep the home and away matchup with every other team in the National Hockey League. So we'll get into that. We've got the NBA and WNBA roundup. We'll talk a little FIFA World Cup. The Open Championship started today. We'll talk about what that looks like. Maybe we'll run through all 38 people that are under par on a par 70 golf course. And, of course, anything else major that comes across between now and the end of the hour. Nick, we talked a lot of baseball, but we didn't really finish. And, you know, it's interesting, I think, to get everyone's take because it was kind of a mixed bag between this Home Run Derby and this All-Star Game as to whether or not people were into it or not into it. The biggest complaint coming from the Home Run Derby wasn't necessarily the Derby. It was the fact that the only place you could watch it was Netflix. And this is what it's becoming. The NFL has already gone to just about every streaming service that exists. Major League Baseball, we had the Sunday after the 4th of July, every single game was on NBC or Peacock or some other random place. I mean, we're starting to see these streaming services take over, and think of how many times you can't watch the Pirates. Last Sunday, you had to have Peacock to watch the Pirates because they paid a premium thinking it was going to be Skeens versus Mizorowski. And unfortunately, Mizorowski was injured and did not pitch, but Skeens was able to. I mean, this is what's coming. I think people here in the Pittsburgh area are lucky we still have Pittsburgh Sportsnet, but the stations that were taken over by Major League Baseball, they've outsourced all of that to streaming services. And if that happened here, depending on what cable you have, you might not even get Major League Baseball Network. This is the way of the world and what it's coming to. I don't know if you have Netflix, you got to watch the Derby. I got to watch the Derby, but I think a lot of the disgust that's come from it, it's not Jordan Walker, it's not the format, it's not the length of time, it's not any of that. I think in the end, whatever people complain about, the root of it is the fact that it was on a station that most people didn't get to have.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have Netflix at this point, but if you don't, I feel bad. But, you know, that's the way of the world. A lot of things are going on streaming now. And it is a home run derby. If you're going to put anything on a streaming network to test it out, it would be an exhibition like that. It wasn't like you put the World Series on it or, God forbid, the Super Bowl. So it's a nice, fun thing, the home run derby. A lot of people like it. But, you know, if you're going to experiment with streaming, I would do it with that or the All-Star game. Not a really big, really important event. But I understand people's frustration. I do.
Yeah, and I think it's just looking into the future. And, you know, I think Sunday, a lot of people still weren't aware that that Pirate game wasn't going to be on, you know, some sort of television station. You had to have
Right.
Peacock to watch it. And, I mean, that could have potentially been the biggest game of the year. Insert Mizorowski in there for Milwaukee. I mean, that's a marquee matchup. That's a big-time game. And you're seeing these streaming services and these networks paying premium prices for individual games like that to basically put on their platform and force you to pay extra to be able to watch it. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time until not just playoff series, but World Series games end up going that route. And just imagine if the Pirates made the wild card and you go to watch the first game and it's streamed out somewhere that most people don't get.
Thank God the Cueto game was on regular TV, Dave.
I know, because Cueto heard you screaming through the TV, and that's why he dropped that ball. If you're not able to watch it, I can't imagine that's going to happen again.
No.
We'd like to see history repeat itself with something like that.
Yeah,
The All-Star game,
Marlon Byrd flew the coop after he hit that home run.
he did, along with just about every other Pirate of prominence at that point. Moving on to the All-Star game, mixed reactions. It was a boring game. The National League never really got started in that game. 11 pitchers for the American League shut out the National League. It was kind of cool for me. I got to see a couple of ex-Dodgers. Cody Bellinger named MVP with the 2-run single in the first inning. Miguel Vargas hits a home run in the game. But in the end, not really a lot of excitement. That was on TV. That was on Fox. And a lot more of a show than anything else. It took forever to get started, which I thought was kind of cool with the introductions of the guys coming up, acting like they were signing the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, you like
I'm sure
that?
There were a lot of. I'm sure people hated that, but it's that history background with me. I thought there was just something cool about it. I know they stopped the game for a good half hour after the third or fourth inning, but I liked the whole atmosphere of the Sandlot. The kids coming out on their bicycles, Ray Charles singing in the background, the players coming out and either throwing ball with them or signing something for them. All the guys from Sparklers, like I kind of like that, and I know this is what sports has evolved to, more of a show. They want to have a halftime show. I heard for the World Cup final, which is unheard of in the world of soccer. But that's what it is. It's not just the game anymore. It's more of the show that goes along with it. They were showing the little vignettes of the All-Stars at the World Fair or at the State Fair in Philadelphia, and then the interaction with the guys that play the Founding Fathers, just for a little comedy relief in there. I kind of liked it. I get why people don't. I think the purists, they just want to see the game. The Major League Baseball All-Star game is probably the one that resembles an actual game more than anything else. But when you look at what it's become today, it's not just the game anymore. I've said that for years, even with something like Sports Talk. You come on and read the newspaper and put a few interviews on and just regurgitate stats. Nobody's really going to listen to you. There's got to be the entertainment piece to it. Look at McAfee, look at Coward, look at some of those people that are doing it nationally. People don't watch because they're learning a ton about sports. They watch for the show that goes along with it. And unfortunately, when you get into the events, a lot of that show is brought into play there as well.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was really neat. I like that stuff. It was in Philadelphia. They did that purposely, putting it in Philadelphia this year. This very month, we celebrate America 250. A lot of shots of the Liberty Bell, much like in Pittsburgh. They still show shots of steel mills on Sunday night and Monday night Steeler games, so that's cool. I like that stuff, too. It was fun. The game was not eventful. Miguel Vargas with a home run. Who would have thought? Cody Bellinger with the first inning hit wins the MVP of the game. So I understand the game lacked a lot of drama and suspense for a lot of folks, but I thought it was a nice night. Why? It's an exhibition. Why not? Have some fun.
Yeah, not a real game. Doesn't count for anything. Doesn't mean anything. You don't even get home field in the World Series determined by it anymore. What a joke that was for all those years.
I didn't hate that. A lot of people did. I thought if you're going to have this game, have it mean something. Now it means nothing again. I didn't hate that. I really didn't. I know most people did. You don't like it, but I thought it was fun.
Well, I'm sure the random pirate that made that game every year, because every team has to have a rep, really cared who was going to have home field advantage in the World Series.
But don't you think if you're going to have a game, it should mean something? I mean,
it should, but I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can make it mean something and affect every player in it. I think that's probably the hardest part.
How about
is
this?
How do you get everybody to care?
Here's
Unless
an
you
idea.
hand them money.
Yeah, with that, or even how about the winning league gets more home games the next season in interleague play? Something. If you don't want to make it the World Series, do something like that, or have it.
That could be interesting.
Or maybe I don't want to say the draft. That's really important, but yeah, something like that. How about if the National League wins it, they get more home interleague games the following year? I don't know, something. I watched it anyway because I love baseball, as do you, so it doesn't have to mean anything to me. Well, it means something to me because it's a great game, but. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's fine that it doesn't mean anything. Whatever. I'm open. My mind's open on the idea, on the game.
Yeah, I think if you can find something that'll incentivize everyone and get them to actually care. I mean, look how many guys don't even play.
Oh, Ohtani,
I mean, if you
Miz,
pitch a day
yeah.
before, if you pitch 2 days, McAshcraft was supposed to pitch, but then they moved that start to Saturday. I thought, there's no way. So you got two Pirates there, and neither one of them ever get in the game.
How about the Pirates lead the league in hitting in the first half of the year? No hitters selected to the team. I mean, no Lau, no, and then the two pitchers didn't pitch. So it was interesting. A lot of Rays, though. I enjoy that. Cam Monero's X-rays are negative, thank goodness. But a lot of Rays pitched, so that was good. Rays.
Gonzalez is in the top 5 in the National League in hitting and was not an All-Star.
Yeah, can you imagine? Nicky G, not an All-Star, but he should be, I guess. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting 308. Why not? Everybody thought Brandon Lau was going to make it.
Yeah, but no Ohtani,
Reynolds,
no
I
Judge.
think, could have made it.
It did lack a lot of star power with no Ohtani, no Judge. What can
But the Philadelphia crew made sure they voted Mike Trout in, first time since 2019 with his 237 average, to make sure he got to start in Philadelphia, his hometown. So, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah,
that was good to see.
He's a big name. I liked all the interviews with Justin Verlander, a legacy pick, and he's finally wrapping it up, and what a legacy. He might be the best pitcher of my generation, or maybe not, but he's certainly up there.
Yeah, well, definitely. He had the longevity to do that. So, yeah, one of the best all-time, Justin Verlander. I was trying to figure out why he was there, and then they had finally said, he was a legacy pick.
Yeah.
So Major League Baseball now coming off of this, getting ready for the second half of the season, the World Series, the Field of Dreams game, all the big stuff that comes in the second half of the year. They've now looked ahead to next year, and they're going to move the season up. Looks like we're going to have the season start on March 24th. Everybody's going to play on that day. One game is going to be on Netflix. They haven't announced which one yet, but they have announced all the opening matchups for the 24th. I'm trying to look to see. Atlanta and the Dodgers look like they could be prime time for the Netflix game that we're going to see. The Pirates will be at home for this opening weekend. They'll be taking on the Athletics, who are going to still be playing in Sacramento, but apparently moving to Vegas next year at some point. So obviously at the beginning, they're still going to be in Sacramento. The labor contract does expire December 1st, so all of this is pretty much in limbo right now to see whether or not this season is canceled, or at least part of it is sort of, eliminated because of a potential strike. The All-Star game, if they have it's going to be at Wrigley Field. So yet again, a little more nostalgia that's going to come from that with rivalry weekend to follow. The regular season will end on September 26th, so a legitimate chance we do not see Bucktober next year.
No.
I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that's what they've come up with so far. I don't know, Nick. Are we going to see it? It looks like a strike is looming for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I'm just laser focused on the second half of this year, playoffs and World Series. It's upsetting as diehard baseball people like we are, but maybe it'll be good for the league in general down the line. I don't know. I don't see it. I thought it was funny they released their schedule today, maybe earlier than usual, and they're promoting everything like it's going to be a normal season. They think they're going to start the season on time. They're going to have the All-Star game. They're going to have the full season, but we all have our doubts. I've heard serious in the know baseball reporters say 85, 90%, if not higher, we don't have a full season next year. That's alarming.
Well, if the season starts on time, then it's going to start without a salary cap, because
Right.
I can't imagine a lot of these players who would be cap casualties. I mean, they'll have to find a way, I'm assuming, to grandfather them in initially, but there's going to be some major pay cuts coming down the road in Major League Baseball if there's a salary cap. I think that's a deal breaker. I think the players hold out all year, or at least as long as they can, if the owners are pushing a salary cap. And everything I've heard is that it's going to be pushed by ownership and management 100%. They want to see the best players everywhere. They ran into that situation last year where Paul Skeens was only at the All-Star game. The Pirates were so bad, there was really nowhere else they could showcase him. And then when they tried to put him on a nationally televised game, the Pirates were demanding more money from Major League Baseball to put him on there. So it has to happen, I think, but I can't see the players just easily giving into this.
No, absolutely. There's going to be a fight, and we'll see what happens with it. And, you lived through it in '94, and baseball recovered because of Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds. Basically, cattle steroids is what brought baseball back. Maybe we'll need that after next year. I don't know. It's going to be brutal, and I have my doubts, as do people really in the know in Major League Baseball, that this is going to turn out well and that there will be a full season next year.
So I have to end baseball with this. The Dodgers posted earlier today, I think it's the greatest bobblehead I've ever seen that they're going to do for a giveaway. It's a bobblehead from Game 7 of the World Series with Andy Pius running over Kike Hernandez. They're both on the bobblehead. Pius has the ball in his glove. Hernandez is toppling over as they make contact with each other. This might be the most clever bobblehead I've ever seen in my life. And while the Dodgers are giving away things like this, nostalgia, to promote their winning culture, the Pirates are giving away a bobblehead of a TV character and a plush of something from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So at least the Dodgers are sticking to baseball instead of whatever this nonsense is the Pirates are giving away. Hopefully they can pump out a few Connor Griffins for next year or something baseball related, maybe some of their Hall of Famers or a Jack Wilson, something, because it's getting out of control. We've got rappers. I mean, they're giving away bobbleheads of literally anything but baseball. This thing's great. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out.
No,
Greatest bobblehead I've ever seen.
I haven't heard of that. That's awesome. We do remember that catch from last year. What a great game and series that was. Yeah, that's great. The Dodgers going for 3 in a row this year, and they're sticking to baseball, and that's your difference. The Dodgers are laser focused on baseball. Pirates, I get the show set in Pittsburgh, but to give away a bobblehead of a TV character, I guess it brings the casuals out, Dave, and that's what they're looking for.
Maybe. They had a video of Noah Wiley actually looking at the bobblehead of himself,
That's nice.
admiring it. So,
cute.
yeah, I guess you'll get – that's normally what Pittsburgh promotes, people that don't really go to watch baseball that go to do all the other things. But they're a little better this year. I would have hoped that we would have seen some more things geared around baseball. Maybe next year, depending on how this year goes, we'll start to see that. Well, Nick, this is the time of year when we normally start talking about it. We're less than 2 weeks away, training camp at St. Vincent's. You ready to go sit on the hill and cheer for either Will Howard or Drew Aller.
I got my blanket, I got my cooler. I'm ready for another 95-degree day at St. Vincent, or multiple days. Yeah. Who that number 3 quarterback's going to be, that's going to really change the trajectory of the NFL and the Steelers organization.
How is this, like, are people just blind to the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to try to stay upright back there at the quarterback position, but behind a makeshift line that's riddled with injuries, with a receiving core that's maybe slightly upgraded, depending on what kind of routes Michael Pittman is able to run? The running back position looks somewhat solid. There certainly are enough tight ends. Hopefully he can find some. But I just don't see, with his lack of mobility and the line sort of in shambles, I just don't see how they're going to keep opposing pass rushing out of that backfield, and how Rodgers is going to have time to hit a Metcalf or a Pittman or, I don't know, Jeremy Bernard. I mean, they could have had a better receiver that they chose not to draft because they draft this converted lineman, Pele, who they're going to, I don't know, maybe have to start at some point, the soccer player, to try to put out there. So, I mean, I have no idea why people just put their gold and black glasses on and look and say, yeah, this is an anointed playoff team. Watt and Highsmith and Ramsey, just start reeling the names off. I mean, Dean and Brisker, I thought those were huge upgrades, better than anything they could have drafted in that secondary position. But yet again, you neglect the fact you've got the oldest quarterback in the league and maybe the worst line in the league. I don't know what you think you're going to get, that we've already started talking about who's going to be the number 3 quarterback.
First of all, Dave, he's Messi, not Pele. Messi, who's a win away from another World Cup win. Let's update that. Some respect to Messi. But second of all, you're right about the Steelers. I mean, I think the offense will look better. The receiving core will be better. With McCarthy's offense, it just has to look better. It'll be spread out, 3 receivers. The running game a little better with Dowdle, but the line's an issue. The line would be an issue with the fresh, upstart 23-year-old who runs around. The Steelers have the precise opposite of what I just described a quarterback, in a mobile 42-year-old who's very rigid and stubborn, who didn't like to move 20 years ago. Not going to want to move now in his farewell season, his final rodeo. I'm sure you saw the photos from that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He's trying to bond with his team, and I don't know. I don't think this is what McCarthy wanted. It's what Mr. Rooney wanted. It's what our favorite GM, Omar Khan, wanted. Bring Rodgers back. I don't think the fans wanted it. I think that most of them were happy Tomlin left. I don't think a lot of them wanted Rodgers back, though. So I don't see it. If Burrow and Lamar stay healthy, I don't know. I just don't see them winning that division. They only won it last year after a missed field goal. So, and
there aren't 3 playoff teams coming from that division.
No.
So you look at Cincinnati and you look at Baltimore, 2 teams clearly better than Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh barely won it last year, and Jackson and Burrow missed most of the year.
I will say, Rodgers is the reason they won that division. He was really good in the regular season last year, awful against the Texans, but of course he was. They had the best defense in the league. I think even a quarterback in his prime would struggle against them. I'm good now. Yeah, so I just don't see it, Dave. And again, I respect Rodgers for what he did last year. I respect him throughout his tenure. He's been phenomenal. Maybe the best quarterback talent-wise ever. Not the best winner. That's obviously Brady, but I think it's over. And, Aller, Howard, I would start one of them, make Rudolph the backup. But no, they wanted to bring Rodgers back, and we'll see. Maybe they win 10 games and win a playoff game, but I doubt it.
And it goes to show just how tough it is to get a quarterback in the NFL if you don't draft and develop your own. And
Right.
Tomlin failed miserably his entire career with that. He inherited Ben Roethlisberger, never was able to develop another quarterback after that, and the Steelers are paying the price. And they didn't want to make a trade. There was talk about potentially Mac Jones, who looked like he was resurrected in San Francisco last year. There were free agents. Kyler Murray was out there. They seem to have no interest in him. Malik Willis, they seem to have no interest in him.
Should have got
So they
Darnold 2
didn't
years
want-
ago. Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold. Should have got him 2 years
Could
ago.
have, but they don't
Last
want to
year,
invest.
last year.
They don't really want to invest anything. They got Rodgers on the cheap because of the Jets still paying him. They got Russell Wilson the year before on the cheap. So you start looking at what they've done at that position. It was almost like it just didn't matter. Like it was just going to be a game manager there don't lose the game. The defense will make big plays. They'll win the game. That was the Mike Tomlin philosophy. We know McCarthy has a different philosophy. We know it's a better philosophy, especially if you like offense. What I really worry about is the line and Rodgers not holding up. And when the season's over and it ends in disappointment, just like the last decade has, McCarthy's going to be the one that gets blamed. And it's probably not going to be his fault. It's going to be the fault of the personnel that was given to him that you're just not going to win with. When you look around the league, Mahomes might be ready for opening day. So now you got to figure them with Denver, with the Chargers. There's no way there are 3 playoff teams coming out of the AFC North. They just aren't. Maybe 2, and I don't see Pittsburgh being better than Baltimore. And it really, at this point, I don't see Pittsburgh being better than Cincinnati. Maybe that'll change when I do my picks. But as of now, I just see them on the outside looking in. And I wonder whether or not next year will be any different. Say you keep Drew Aller, you're not going to play him. So what are you going to know about him? And that might stop you from drafting a quarterback in the first round next year because you're going to say, well, Aller looked good in practice. This could be, the upside, whatever, and it could turn into another Kenny Pickett. So you're not progressing because you're playing a guy who's not going to get you a playoff win. You're not looking at the youth to see if you have anything there, and you're going to go into next year thinking that you do, still not 100% sure that you actually have something.
And I don't think we've mentioned the old overpriced defense. I mean, what are they going to look like? I mean, you say what you want about the Browns, but they moved off Myles Garrett, bring in Verse, who's younger. I mean, Watt, not getting any younger. Hayward. Porter's fine in the secondary, but, they have a lot of questions there. And Tomlin did shepherd that defense for many years. Now he's gone. I don't know about this Patrick Graham fellow from the Raiders. So, yeah, there's issues there. I guess the preseason will be fun, Dave, as Aller and Howard battle it out to see who gets a job. It'll be fun.
I guarantee when you watch the local hacks, that's all they're going to be talking about is Aller and Howard. Everything else, the Steelers are going to look like a Super Bowl contender. It's just going to be who's going to be that third quarterback who, by the way, will not play all year.
Everyone will look great,
even
right?
If there are injuries, will not play all year.
Everyone at camp will look great. Yeah.
Right, because they want to be above the mean, and they'll bring in a veteran off the scrap heap before they'll let one of those young rookies play. It's just the way it's going to be. It's the clown owner and the moronic GM. That's what they want. They want 500. They want mediocre. They want an exciting end of the season down there where the Steelers in the last week are fighting for a playoff berth, and they can pack Heinz Field and look great on national TV. I'm sorry, Acrisure Stadium, and look great on TV to make it look like, oh, look at our fans, here they are, last game of the season. But it's because of the fact that they're not able to cash in that those games are so important at the end of the year. It remains to be seen. It's early. They're not even at camp yet. But like we said, less than 2 weeks, we'll be talking about what's going on at St. Vincent's. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the rest of the sports. We'll talk a little hockey and what next season could look like for not just the Penguins, but for the entire NHL. We'll look at the Open, the World Cup, and, of course, the NBA and WNBA Roundup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Well, look no more, because with over 200 vehicles, Gary's Auto Sales is the largest used car dealer in the area. Whether you want a car, a truck, or an SUV, you'll absolutely find what you're looking for at Gary's. Gary's has been in business since 1974. You can visit them online at Gary'sAutoSales.com, or you can give them a call at 724-626-8080. Gary's Auto Sales. Many miles, many smiles.
Main Street Theater Company presents Rent, July 24th and 25th at 7 p.m. and July 26th at 2. A Tony Award-winning musical and Pulitzer Prize drama winner, Rent follows the life of impoverished young artists and musicians struggling to survive and create in New York's Lower East Side. With songs that rock and a story that resonates with audiences of all ages, Rent has become a pop culture phenomenon. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call 724-439-1360.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30, and Saturdays, 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Rags a call today, 724-439-3228, for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
This is State Representative Charity Grimm-Krupa, proud supporter of agriculture, family farms, and rural Pennsylvania. That's why I'm excited to support Heartland with Haley. Haley has already made a real impact through her leadership in FFA, agriculture, and service to others. Now she's using her voice to celebrate the people and traditions that make rural Pennsylvania special. Tune in to Heartland with Haley.
Paid for by Charity for PA Rep.
WMBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. Well, here we are for our final segment, a few loose ends to tie up as we finish out the show, starting with the National Hockey League. The National Hockey League kind of in a little bit of a lull right now, and I mentioned this last week. When free agency starts, it lasts really the hype a day, and everybody that's going to get signed gets signed, and then you go weeks and months without a whole lot happening. There was a key move that was made yesterday when the New Jersey Devils handed Anthony Mantha, the former Penguin, a 2-year contract. I mentioned this at the top of the show, but Mantha had told the Penguins midway through the season that he wasn't going to accept anything less than 3 years. So the Penguins kind of backed off. I think there might have been a little bit of interest short term to bring Mantha back, but instead they bring in Kuzmenko. They do a couple of other things early in free agency. So Mantha is still sitting around until yesterday, and apparently other teams in the league also didn't feel like giving him 3 years. The Devils give him a 2-year deal. He takes it. He will still be in the division. Great year for Anthony Mantha this year, but now his time in Pittsburgh has come to an end. A lot of trade rumors circling around the Penguins. We've heard Jason Robertson. We've heard Elias Pettersson. We've heard Austin Matthews. I mean, the names just seem to be coming out of the woodwork, but it doesn't look like the Penguins are serious about any of these. There's still the whole idea of Nicholas Robertson, who did agree to a deal and avoided arbitration yesterday, a 2-year contract with the Penguins. Why would you go get Nick Robertson if you're not planning on getting Jason Robertson as well? So I'm still going to hold out hope that there is a chance there. I'm not sure there's a chance for anything else. I just don't see them trading Raquel or Rust for Elias Pettersson. I think they'd rather just keep Raquel or Rust. I think the uproar that happened with Jake Gensel when he was traded, I can't imagine that'll go over well if they make a move similar to that. With all of that being said, the NHL released their schedule for next year. You can see the entire Penguin schedule online. We know that they're going to open on the road against Philadelphia. They open at home with Montreal. Those tickets should be out of control. Montreal, one of the really good young teams in the National Hockey League. That should be a phenomenal home opener for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We mentioned the addition of 2 games. We'll take it to 84, first time since 1994 that there are going to be that many. Carolina will open the season against Florida on September 29th, so we've become accustomed to the season starting in October. Now we're going to see it starting in September. And as I mentioned, the 2 added games is so that they can play every team in the division the same amount of time and still be able to play every team in the league at least twice. So that's what we're looking at, 42 home, 42 away. I don't know, Nick. I mean, the NHL probably could benefit with less games instead of more. Nobody relies on the gate more than them. So I guess if they can get people to come in. But if you get into that end of the season, you're in May and June, and you're not good, I can't imagine you making money off of those extra 2 games.
Yeah, the NHL's trying, but we'll see if this is the magic elixir for them adding these extra games. They need the gate revenue, but yeah, we shall see. It's a long enough season. I think most of these leagues need to have fewer games, not more, but maybe the NHL knows what they're doing. Doubtful.
Doubtful. The Open Championship starting today. They're playing at Royal Birkdale in England, so I'm going to call it the British Open because they're actually playing in England. Jackson Suber, your leader, 5 under par. Suber from America. A couple of guys at 4 under, Daniel Brown and Sungjae Im, and then a whole host of people that are under par. Right now, there is a grand total of 38 golfers under par on a par 70 golf course. A lot of talk about how tough it was going to be. What a lie that was. The course conditions are prime for these players. The fairway and the fescue are dried out. The fairway looks like a runway. We're seeing 340, 350, balls just rolling like crazy. You hit it offline, you've got great lies. There's no danger anywhere on the course from the tee box, and the greens are as soft and firm as can be. Looks like they were watered for weeks. They actually look green. The rest of the course looks brown. They're slow, which means you can give it a huge run, total opposite of what you see at a place like Oakmont, and you can hit the ball anywhere you want to. It sticks, it spins, it's prime conditions. That's why you got 38 guys under par. I can't imagine it getting any worse. The only thing going to make it worse is a torrential downpour and about 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it doesn't look like we're going to see that. So another disappointing major that doesn't look like a major. It looks like another week on tour. But at least you've got the USGA and the US Open every year to give you something a little more challenging that legitimately looks like a major. I'll watch it, but I was bored with it today. Just everybody making putts from everywhere. Just looked way too easy out there.
Sorry, Dave, I stepped out to attend to some business. What's going on?
Nothing. I was talking golf. I figured I would send it over to you now to do the NBA and WNBA roundup.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the NBA roundup. I guess not a lot going on. Giannis was officially introduced to the Heat today. Giannis to the Miami Heat, coming over from Milwaukee. He's a very good young player. Well, I don't know,
I saw for Tyler Herro, who got into a fight with Bam Adebayo. Is that the guy that had like
Bam
50-some
Adebayo
points?
had the 83-point game, right?
Yeah.
Always something going on, yeah. And then LeBron, he's still milling around. He might go to the Sixers, might go to the Warriors, play with Steph. Boy, that'd be an old team. So a lot of fun there. Coming off the Knicks win. It's been a quiet offseason, I guess, but the WNBA, big controversy there. Caitlin Clark is still going strong. They have their All-Star game next week, so another week of the regular season before that break. But Kathy Engelberg...
Oh, they're still in the regular season? I thought maybe they were in the playoffs.
Oh, no. It takes a while. These things have to work out. Long regular season. Kathy Engelberg, the commissioner of the WNBA, and hot water. She's blowing off interviews. A lot of controversy. She doesn't want to address the Caitlin Clark stuff about how she's maybe being mistreated out there. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of controversy in the WNBA. They haven't had this.
Well, I hear a lot of the controversy with Clark is not just what they're doing to her, but a lot of it's not being called.
Right.
A lot of non-calls that are leaving her pretty injured out there. And, of course, we know she is the cash cow for the WNBA, so they probably should spend some time taking a little bit of care of her than what they do.
Yes, I mean, she is to the WNBA what Tiger was to the PGA about 20, 30 years ago, and they don't seem to be respecting her, and I think we all have our ideas on it, but, it's interesting. It's not an incredibly well-run league. I'm not sure they know how to handle a big talent like this.
No, I'm surprised they can handle playing in legit arenas. They played in casinos for years, so finally they get some money coming their way, and they don't really know what to do with it. So hopefully they figure it out. I watched about 5 minutes of it like 2 weeks ago, so when I watch the next 5 minutes, I want to make sure I see Caitlin Clark out there hopefully not getting knocked to the ground, actually playing a little bit of basketball. Nick, the FIFA World Cup coming to an end. I was going to call it soccer, but I know you call it football. Spain and Argentina, not exactly what everyone was thinking. I think a lot of people were thinking France and England, but Argentina, the defending champ, Lionel Messi, one of the best soccer players ever, maybe according to you, the best that we've ever seen. A bunch of one-name players on Spain that are really good as well. What can we expect on Sunday?
Should be a great match, riveting. Hard to believe the World Cup is wrapping up. Yeah, France will play England, but not in the match that matters, the third-place match on Saturday. But how about Spain? They have great defense. They haven't allowed a goal in a long time. They're just really good. They had a 2-0 win in their semi, and now we have Argentina looking for their second straight World Cup championship, led by Messi. I mean, he's on a short list, so if I had to pick, I'd say Argentina wins this thing, but should be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying football. The beautiful game, Dave. I'm sure you've been enjoying it and are sad to see it wind down.
Yeah, it's been a great time. I'm going to make sure I tune in a little bit on Sunday to see whether it's Spain or Argentina who are the FIFA World Cup champions.
And by the way, you watched tennis last week, and that's Wimbledon's wrapped up. Yannick Sinner wins the second straight Gentlemen's Wimbledon Championship, and Linda Noskova on the ladies' side. So I love the tennis. I can't wait for the U.S. Open in a few weeks, so that should be fun.
Yeah, a lot opened up for the ladies. A lot of the big guns were out early. Noskova beat Machova, which was an interesting matchup. But, Linda Noskova, pretty good. She was the 9th seed coming in. I think Machova was the 10th.
Right.
Obviously, we saw Coco Gauff make it to the semis but get knocked out. But a lot of the big names were gone. For the men, the big names were there. You got to see Djokovic in the semifinals. But Yannick Sinner and Zverev was the second seed with Alcaraz not playing. Yannick Sinner, definitely the best tennis player right now in the game. Second straight win at Wimbledon for him. Zverev was the French Open champ coming into it. So there's your tennis report there. Last thing, just to wrap up, people, when he played in Pittsburgh, talk about how upset and angry George Pickens looked all the time. He seems happy as can be in Dallas, and even though they didn't give him a contract, he's going to play off his franchise tag, which is going to pay him over $27 million. So he was smiling like crazy yesterday. Says he's as happy as can be. I just can't wait for football to start. We're almost there, Nick. Almost there.
All right, Dave. Good stuff, buddy. I was out for a second. What's going on? We wrapping up?
That's all right. I'm wrapping up. That is all the time we have for this week's edition of the Sports Voice. Thanks for listening. Be back next Thursday, 4:15 to 6.
Is your lawn getting shaggy? Weeds taking over? Maybe it's time for a full yard cleanup or fresh mulch and clean, crisp edges to bring your landscape back to life. Whatever your lawn needs, Z's Ground Control has you covered. They do it right the first time. Call 724-366-9150 today for your free estimate. Z's Ground Control. You grow it, we mow it.
Find your place in the sun for fun this summer with First Federal of Greene County. Dreaming of a backyard refresh? Leverage your existing home equity and ask about a home improvement or home construction loan. First Federal will help you dive into any new project. A swimming pool, patio, outdoor kitchen, even a new driveway or garage. Whatever floats your boat. Visit with a First Federal loan officer today or apply online at ffgc.bank. First Federal Savings Loan Association of Greene County. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 458729.
Your local station, 590 and 101.1 WMBS, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Now, Fox News at 6 o'clock. Good evening.
Diplomacy still on the table. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The White House says Iran continues to talk with negotiators as the U.S. launches a sixth day of strikes against targets in Iran. U.S. Central Command says American forces redirected 3 commercial ships trying to run the blockade of Iranian ports, with Marines boarding one ship in the Gulf of Oman, and another was stopped by U.S. forces.
For the first time since President Trump ordered a resumption of the naval blockade, U.S. forces disabled an oil tanker, firing Hellfire missiles at the stacks, trying to run through it to Iran's Karg Island. To date, 2 other commercial ships have reversed course and turned away from the blockade enforced by 20 U.S. warships and hundreds of aircraft. Video from the U.S. military Central Command shows F-18 Super Hornets launching with standard land attack missiles attached with a range of 170 miles.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Tel Aviv, as Iranian military spokesman says Iran could launch widespread attacks on what he called all the infrastructure in the region if the U.S. hits Iranian bridges and power plants. President Trump said to deliver an address tonight. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says he will discuss newly declassified intelligence assessments about vulnerabilities in election systems in 2020.
All Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case.